It's November, and that means Gratitude Month. Are you making gratitude a daily habit?
Yeah, today we'll give you a guide on how to make gratitude a part of your daily schedule today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
This is the Wandering But Not Lost WBNL podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, hello and welcome to the Wandering But Not Lost WBNL podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 217. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, today is National Take a Hike Day.
Oh, that's even better.
I know, exactly, right?
Go all over that.
Exactly.
I am wanting to take a hike this weekend, and goal is to get over to Red Rock. And it's been gorgeous weather here, and I haven't been there since I've been back. So I'm going to go to the Red Rock.
Yeah, Brian and I went on a little hike last weekend, which was freaking awesome.
Yes, Matt almost killed me.
I think we went like 3.5 miles or something. It wasn't even that
but there was a little bit of inclines.
That's
and this person has not been out getting up and getting around. And
I didn't know how many almost killed you, like 2 or 3 times.
It was great, though. It was wonderful. It was part of what we like to do. We hadn't gotten together in a while, and we were able to enjoy and have some fun and do a little business planning, which is what we talked about on our previous episodes, in case you missed them. Go back and check that out. Get our completely free business plan. And we'll tell you more at the end here about how you can get, if you missed those episodes or you want to get a live class on how to do the business plan and get yourself ready for 2022, we'll tell you about that at the end of this episode. So
we did talk about gratitude, and I'll tell you, we always pat ourselves on the back a little bit during this, and about how we're so good about being grateful. But I'm always grateful for you, Jan O'Brien. But when I'm actually with you, I become even more grateful. So it was a good weekend.
It was, and I feel the same. And gratitude starts with, and it's not just November that we should be thinking about gratitude. And that's the purpose of today's episode, is how can you practice it daily? How can you make it a part, very simply make it a part of your day-to-day life, which basically just is just that, having an awareness. It's so easy, right, Matt, to focus on all the things that are negative in our personal lives, in our world, and whatever is going on for you. I do think that if you stop and take a moment, you can find something to be grateful for every single day.
Absolutely. And on that note, here's a great quote. This is by an unknown author, but it's a great quote. And if everyone just lived like this, it would be freaking awesome. It's live simply, dream big, be grateful, give love, and what's the last thing? Stay there.
Laugh lots.
Laugh lots. Of course, my favorite part, right?
Live, laugh, love, right? That's just it, right? Live, laugh, and love, and enjoy every day where you can, and find those little moments of gratitude. And gratitude can do so much for us if we focus on that. And the benefits, studies have shown that a daily dose of gratitude can bring everything from just overwhelm positive emotions. You just have, it's kind of like, I guess, I don't know if you feel the same way, Matt, but I feel like most people have a tendency to either be more positive minded, focused on the positives, or on the negative side, and maybe somewhere in between, right? But we all know people who focus on the lack, what they don't have in their lives, which then leads to their mindset being always negative. And we all get like that, right? Certainly Absolutely. I can get like that, and you can get a little down and depressed. But when you really start to think about what to be grateful for, and we're going to, talk a little bit about how to make these things happen, it can include, reduce that depression. It can help you sleep better, get things off of your mind. And actually, that's a great idea of something to do, is right before you go to sleep, is to think about what you're grateful for, as opposed to worrying about what you haven't done or what you're worried about. Whatever's on your mind that is on the negative side gives you more energy, can help your immune system. It's because the gratitude leads to positive feelings and emotions that you're living in if you stay in that space. So I don't know about you, but I would like to have even more energy, more sleep. I know that when I start that day and I focus on more positive things, and it can be just going and taking a walk or doing something, I definitely feel like I have more energy. Now, I lose the energy at the end of the day because I get up so early. I've been noticing that about me as I've getting older. But a good way to end the day for me is to focus on what happened that was great today. And it's a good way to try to get to sleep. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think that it's really important to end your day and to begin your day both with positive mind frame, right?
What are
And
some
gratitude
other
is
ways,
very
Matt, that we can? What are other ways we can share with our audience that just besides just thinking about being grateful?
Yeah, let's do another quote here. To make a difference in someone's life, you don't have to be brilliant, rich, beautiful, or perfect. You just have to care. I think that is awesome because it's the truth, right? Because what is gratitude really, right? It's about thanking someone, or it's about showing your appreciation. It's about caring for people. And I think that so much in our lives all the time, it's so easy now to focus on what's happening now in the world's political environment and what's going on with the ecological environment. If you really start focusing on all that, it can really take you down a path, right? But I wonder, and I talk about this a lot with my wife, she's like, that's so bad now. I thought, is it? I mean, yes, it is, right? But isn't there always this? Hasn't there always been this?
Something.
You know what I mean? So,
there's always been something.
Yeah, it is always, it's always something, right? Absolutely. There's so many different ways you can practice gratitude in your daily life. And one of them is keeping a gratitude journal. I know that's something, Jan used to be a journaler. Jan, are you still journaling?
No. However, I love the idea and the concept of journaling. And, it's one of those things that I've gone off and on with, but I definitely will tell you that I have a collection of journals with a lot of entries and a lot of blank journals.
Right. We talk about this, and it comes up in just a second again for during this list. But I've never been a journaler at all. But I do write notes and put into my wife's lunch every day. She's a school teacher, and I make her lunch every morning before she leaves. And I always put a note in there. And in a way, I was thinking about it when we were putting this presentation together. That's kind of my journaling in a way. You know what I mean? In a different, it's not like I'm writing down everything I'm doing for a day and giving it to her as her lunch note. But we've been doing posts on social media all the month of November for WBNL coaching about gratitude. And I've been doing grateful things to her in her lunch every day. And the notes that I send to her throughout the rest of the year are always very upbeat and positive and motivational and that kind of stuff. And in a way, that's kind of my journaling. So anything that you can actually write down. It's funny. We were doing a workshop the other day, Jan and I, and talking about how, and some of the agents that we were presenting to said the same thing, that sometimes if you just write things down, as opposed to typing them or putting them in your computer or filing it away in your brain, if you just write it down, sometimes it's easier to remember, or you're more apt to practice it or do it. So journaling can be a really good thing.
Can I go back to those little notes? Because in the years I've visited Matt and Laura, she does the same to you too. And you guys save some of these notes. So you have, I know that she has notes and maybe even has them at school or ones that mean a lot to her. And I think that is what's powerful about and you're talking about little Post-it notes.
Yeah,
right?
they're just little Post-it notes in the lunch.
This is brilliant. That's such a brilliant idea. What about doing that for your kid as they go off to school or whatever? One of my nieces used to do that, and I would find random notes. She used to come in and, like, if I had a pad I was writing, and she would go way down and write a note. And I have saved some of those that I still have to this day, when, from 10 years ago when we lived together for a while, or I visited her and she would write that down. It's like very unique, right? People don't throw that stuff away, and it's another way to bring you right back to gratitude.
At that point, Jan, it was really funny. We were setting up her classroom, back in August this year, and I was looking for something in her desk, the teacher's desk. I opened up a drawer. There must have been hundreds of notes in that drawer.
See?
Yeah.
If she's having a bad day, she can look at these notes that you sent her and just immediately change her whole being, right? Her whole essence. So that's exciting.
Yeah. This next bullet, we talked about it a little bit already, how you need to engage in contemplative practice every day. So, would be either a good time to do it is before bed, or when you've just gotten up, or part of your morning routine.
How about starting and ending your day with some type of meditation or gratitude, taking yourself through a gratitude practice?
Absolutely. And it's just, it can be, and there's no rote method of how that should be done. It's whatever's going to be the best method for you, actually, where you can get the most out of it. Writing thank you notes, that's that kind of that takes writing a Post-it note to another level. But Jan and I have always been big advocates of writing a personal note. It goes a really, really, really long way.
And that you are a great note writer, and that they're impactful. And you've done that, I know, throughout your career and life. And I have several notes that you have, cards you've sent me with notes.
I've got several of your notes right back here on the wall because they are special. Right. So, Jan's going to talk in just a minute about things you can do to your clients. And I believe this one rears its head again because it is a impactful thing that you can do in both your personal and professional life. Think positive thoughts. Boy, doesn't that sound easy to do, but, harder than you would think. Because if you're someone that does live in that negative space, sometimes getting into that positive place is a little bit harder to do. And we've got a quote coming up, and I'll wait till we get to it, that really talks about how you can get into this positive place a little bit better. Appreciate and connect with nature. I'm a big advocate of that, always have been. As a matter of fact, I went on my walk this morning. I did a little bit more than I usually do because today is National Take a Hike Day. So I did a little bit more, but that is where I do a lot of my thinking about my day. And when I start really just opening my mind and thinking about either what I'm going to do in a particular time or things that are upcoming, I always am grateful because I really feel like I'm blessed in many, many ways. So getting out there and walking and talking and walking and thinking is a really important way to kind of practice your gratitude. Help yourself from complaining. Now, boy, oh boy, it's easy to fall into the path of, complaining about this and complaining about that. But you don't always have to do that. It's funny. And Jan, we talked a little bit about this when you were out here this weekend, or Laura and I, and you did, about how we seem to see more aggressive drivers on the road now. Right? And I think part of that's just pent up COVID weirdness and other stuff that's going on. It's just weird because we are seeing it more, at least in Southern California. But it's funny. My wife will get in the car and she talks about other drivers all the time. Oh, it's like, okay, here's the deal. Let's try not to do that. And I always try to go out of my way sometimes to really put the emphasis in my head that I am going to be the courteous driver today. Like when you're in a parking lot, let other people go in front of you. You know what I mean? Let when you all pull up at the stop sign at the same time, let
them take the space that you eyed for yourself because they arrived about the same time.
That's right too. Or park a little farther away because everyone wants the front parking spot. You know what I mean? It's just those little things you can do, and anything you can do to switch your mind frame just a little bit like that can help you from getting out of that kind of negative and complaining space. And of course, paying it forward. A lot of ways you can do that. Doesn't actually have to be monetary, but the monetary way of paying it forward is pretty darn awesome as well. Because every once in a while, if you, pay for the coffee for the person behind you, if you're in
have you ever had that happen to you? Because I have, and it just is like, wow, it gives you like this whole new renewed faith in mankind.
Yeah,
I think he was that thoughtful and grateful.
I think I talked about or mentioned this once on a podcast, but my wife and her teaching partner were in a fast food line at lunch one time, and they didn't know the car in front of them and recognize the car in front of them, but it was students they had in a prior year.
Oh, wow.
And they get up to the window and they said, your students paid for your lunch today.
Wonderful.
If you don't think that wasn't the most awesome thing, right?
Exactly.
I mean, talk about making your day.
How hard is that? How hard is it to do any of these things?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Gratitude is not a difficult process. It's a pretty darn easy thing that you can do and really incorporate in your life if you don't already do it. I think you are probably more grateful than you even think you are.
Yeah, maybe hang around more positive people. It's like it's misery loves company, and the same thing happens when you're around positive folks that put an effort into it. You find yourself staying in that space. Just like if you're around the water cooler and everybody's talking about whatever is negative, you pile on, right?
Right.
That's that whole thing about catch yourself from the complaining and the moaning and groaning. And I just think that brings us down when we're in that space. I don't like it, but I can get caught into it. And then I try to stop and go, wow, I'm doing that. Let me just change my mind and go into a different space, right?
Overall, I'm a pretty positive person. So a lot of times I get really quickly pinned as being Pollyanna-like. Yeah. Which, then I just turn into a joke, right? So
it's all good.
Yeah, it's hysterical. So Jan, what are some ways that people can practice gratitude in their business?
So being a little intentional in your business practice, like right now is a great time as we record this and we're like mid-November, or anytime you actually anytime really, but we just like to focus on it because of Thanksgiving, right? For us in WBNL, there's great opportunities to reach out. We've always talked about gratitude in November, but it's a great opportunity to have a reason to reach out and touch your clients. And so one of them may just be calling your sphere of influence and just telling them how grateful you are that they are in your life as a client, or, everybody has everybody that you're talking to that you might have something unique that you're grateful for them. And it's nothing more than that. It's not saying, hey, Matt, I want to let you know how grateful I am that you're one of my clients. By the way, do you have any business for me? You don't even add that. It's just simple upfront gratitude, which you can also do is just, how about sending a card, just thanking them, or maybe it is a Thanksgiving card. Maybe you tie the whole gratitude notion into Thanksgiving card, which is a cool idea to connect with your people that are, in the A and A plus B people in your database. I love the idea of a client appreciation event this time of the year. I have several clients that do things like Paul, I think I mentioned on a previous podcast recently. He always does a pie event, and it's really huge for him. I know a really good broker here in town that I've worked with for years who does the same thing. She doesn't have an event. She delivers pies, like pumpkin pies, to 100 of her top people. She has a huge database, but they deliver 100 pies over a couple days right before Thanksgiving. She goes to Costco, they order a ton of pies, and then they deliver them. Very cool idea. And she has a nice little gratitude comment that she puts on there, just thanking them for being a client. It's just really cool. So I like that idea as well right now. And then even just you could go with the whole idea of dropping off or mailing a gratitude journal. So let's say that you're a little gift, some little something as a way of saying thank you for being in my life or being a client of mine, or however it is to them. So or sharing this whole notion of gratitude, or I'm working on bringing more gratitude into my life, and I wanted to share this practice with you, if you think they're open to it. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but a simple phone call, a text, a call, or rather a card could go a long way. You don't have to run out and buy 100 pies. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But you certainly can send a thank you, a gratitude note, make a call or a text, and it makes somebody's day. That's it.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
Let them know you're thinking about them.
Absolutely. Here's that quote that I was talking about. If you're kind of in a place where you're like, well, I need to get out of my funk, the best way to cheer yourself is to cheer somebody else up, right? To try to cheer up someone else. And it's so fun to play a game when you're out and about, right? And but everyone's gonna be doing a lot of shopping now, probably, although a lot of people shop online now. But if you're gonna out and about, even if you go to the grocery store, I always love to play the smile game, just smiling at somebody to try to get people to smile back at you.
Works.
It does
infectious.
Work. It is infectious, and it's really fun to do, right?
As long as you don't do it in a creepy way.
Yeah, you don't do it in a weird stalker way.
That's a good one. How simple is that? Just smile and someone else will smile, or just greet somebody or make eye contact with somebody. It can make someone's day. That could be enough to change somebody's attitude about, well, that was nice, and now I'm out of this little frowny face mode I'm in.
Yeah, or just doing things in places where people are sometimes ignored a little bit. I think the checker at a grocery store or any checker, is a good example of that. Or, gosh, you pick a day to be nice to your waiter if you're not one of those people. So many ways to be great.
You know what, Matt? That is such a great point you're making, because I do go out of the way when I have somebody who I feel has just been of great service, or they're in whatever it is. I will stop it. Like on the phone, I'll do it a lot recently. I'll be like, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to help me with this. And because no one with customer service is generally ever saying thank you. They're generally complaining about something or calling in and trying to, and being angry and upset. So it goes a long way, and people will, and it's in it. And I'm doing it intentionally because I'm like, wow, this person's being very patient. Or if I catch myself being a little, I'll be like, wow, okay, I just want to say thank you. It's not your fault. I know I was just a little upset about it, but I really want to thank you for taking the time. And then all of a sudden the person is like helping you and grateful that you're not yelling at them, and it's not you, it's me, or it's the situation. But it goes a long way. Telling somebody how great their service is, I think, goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And that's easy to do. How many times a day are you in a situation where you could just say thank you to someone?
Yep.
Thank you for the way you do your job.
For sure. I guess the bottom line, this really sums it up, that gratitude really can change your life, and it can if you focus on it. And not only can it change yours, it can change the people around you and the people, anyone that you come into contact with. So, this is going to be a short message today because we could talk about ways to be grateful forever, but it is a personal thing. But it's not hard to do, right?
So be grateful. Go forth and share gratitude today and every day.
Exactly. Absolutely. And and it is every day. It's not just around Thanksgiving.
And we are grateful for those of you who listen to us on our podcast, who catch us on our YouTube channel, or just been in our database for as long as we've been in existence, which is 2015, basically this year. I mean, this month is our anniversary month.
That's right.
So what are we now, going into our
eighth year?
Eighth year?
Yep.
Going into our 8th year. Excellent. And we've got
It is amazing. Jan and I have been going through and just kind of looking at, we've had a lot of connections with people in the last couple of months because of all the business planning that we have been doing. And it's interesting to go through and see where clients actually first interacted with us. And we are grateful because so many people that are purchasing or getting into some of our programs now have been around WBNL coaching for years and years and years, right? So we do appreciate you hang on. Because what we try to do is put out fantastic content and new content all the time. So
these are the 3, we've got 3 episodes left, but Matt and I talked about it, and we're committed. We're going to get back to doing a weekly podcast starting January 2023 with more interviews, with more bringing some folks back in and sharing of ideas and the areas we like to focus on. But we're going to end the year. What do we have coming up, Matt, for the next? We have 3 episodes left.
December 2nd. So next week is Thanksgiving. So we're not going to be doing anything next week. But the week after that, we're going to be touching on our MyPath program or document. We've had MyPath for years and years. It's a great scheduling tool and business planning tool. We really reworked it last year to a whole new version, a whole new spreadsheet, and we have done a little update for it this year. So MyPath 2023 is coming up on the 2nd. On the 16th, we're going to do an interview. We have a couple different people we have kind of lined up, but we don't know who's actually going to be there doing the interview yet. You will know soon enough. And then Jan's also going to be talking about FHA VA assumable loans, which is something that if you don't have in your marketplace, you are probably going to see and or at least hear about very, very soon, as with the market continues to shift and question about where everything's going to go. Although we are very positive where it's going to go in 2023 and then into 2024. So that's going to be a great program she's going to talk about. So make sure that you sign in for that. And then at the end of the month, on December 30th, we're going to do our annual year in review, which we just go over the headlines, the most popular things that have happened in the past year, and then we kind of just talk about some of the experiences we've had in 2022. So that's kind of
some of our favorite entertainment things, maybe movies or.
Absolutely. Which, this year for me, since I've only seen one movie in the movie theater, everything else has been streaming. It's all going to be online.
We'll maybe share our favorite music or streaming shows or whatever that was made 2022 interesting to us.
Absolutely.
Maybe to you.
Absolutely. And then we do have a special workshop that we're working on that's going to be held on December 7th, Wednesday, December 7th, to kind of put a period, an exclamation point on our business planning for 2023. And we're calling it 2023 Business Planning. Seize the opportunities. And if you want information about that, we've done a 3-minute video that's going to talk. It talks about all about the challenges right now, the solutions we're going to provide, and also the tools and systems that we're going to actually be giving to you free during that workshop. Is the cost of this workshop? The workshop is a whopping. Now, get out your wallets and your credit cards, folks, because this workshop is $23. For 2023. So
$23 for 2023. We are going to also talk about 5 areas to focus on, and we're going to have a new download for you as well that will be 100 content ideas for doing video and or adding to your social media that can make a difference in generating business in the new year.
Yeah, that download is going to be an awesome new download for us. So you can get more information about that over at wbnlcoaching.com/C's 2023. You can watch the video on YouTube, or if you just hang on here to the end, I'm actually going to attach it to the end of this podcast today, so you can watch the video. It's going to be a good workshop, and it's going to be a workshop that not only are we going to give you some great information, but depending upon the size of our group, if you have questions regarding business planning, if you are business planning using someone else's tool, or if you're business planning using our systems, we can do a little Q&A and answer some questions about the business planning.
Absolutely.
Because here's the deal with business planning. We all have the great intent to get it done. We're even bad about this ourselves. Literally you will put anything else in front of business planning, right? It's like, whoop, gotta go walk the dog. Instead of, you know what I mean? So it can sometimes get pushed to the side. So we want to help you complete yours. And if you're stuck on something or need a little bit more inspiration or motivation, come to the workshop and we'll help you through that. So what else, Jan O'Brien?
That is all I have. I'm excited about. We're doing business planning for us, for our coaching program, of doing more on what we're doing here in Las Vegas for our team. Actually, we're going to work on that today. We're doing some business planning with our team today, and that is, what do we got left? 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Yeah,
started doing my holiday shopping, doing most of that online this year. I never did that, but now I'm more about doing it online.
Last night, I was making out our shopping list for our Thanksgiving meal. That was pretty fun too. So I'm looking forward to getting that turkey in the old. We're going to brine our turkey this year, which we've never done. I mean, actually, it's going to brine for like 36 hours.
Wonderful.
So we'll see how that turns out. We'll have to check that. Anyway, I guess that's it, everyone. Get out there, get up, get out, be forever wandering but not lost, and just be grateful.
I am grateful.